It's 2012. Everyone who isn't rocking out to Kelly Clarkson's Stronger, What Doesn't Kill You, expects that as the Mayan calendar ends in 2012, it is going to kill them. Meanwhile, famously not afraid of dying, James Cameron is diving solo 7 miles into the Mariana Trench. But here, we just want to know, are you Team PETA or Team Gale? Or secretly Team Senna? Welcome to the Screen Hoppers. I'm Ian, and as always, I'm here with my co-host Michael and special guest today, Rosie Paige. What's up, Michael and Rosie?
Good morning. I'm over here wondering who wasn't rocking out to Kelly Clarkson's Stronger in 2012. I imagine that was James Cameron's soundtrack on his way down to the Mariana Trench.
Yeah, that's kind of perfect.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the recent history of submarines headed down to the Titanic.
I thought about referencing that too, but it was just, it was too early in time. He wouldn't have known, and I don't think it would have deterred him.
No, not at all.
Hi, Rosie. Good morning.
Hey, Ian. How's it going?
So good to have you back on the pod. I'm doing great. What brings you here today?
I'm super excited to be here and talk about The Hunger Games, which is a book.
It is
a book.
It is. Is that why you're here to talk about it today?
Indeed. Also, you may not know this about me, but I love action movies. It's my favorite genre.
And we are doing a special action spectacular here on the Screen Hoppers, so it's really awesome to have you. And I know you've read all the Hunger Games books, and there is a new Hunger Games movie coming out this year as well, so you got to be excited about that.
Very excited about it. Have read the book already, and probably will do a reread. And, maybe we'll do a podcast preview of it.
Ooh, not a bad idea.
Preview.
A paperback preview. Yeah.
I feel like we should. Actually, rewatching The Hunger Games for this made me want to read the 2 prequel books because I've read the core trilogy, but not those prequels, and I haven't even seen the most recent movie.
I haven't either.
I haven't seen the most recent movie. I did read that book, and contrary to popular opinion, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty interesting.
You liked the book?
I did.
Did people not like the book?
People didn't like it. They thought that snow is too snowy.
What?
What does that mean?
You got to read the book to find out, or watch the movie, I guess.
Kim, my wife, she read the book and she liked it.
Yeah.
So
Kim also falls in the unpopular opinion realm with me often. So
when you're a contrarian, she is in that same box.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. But you're both Hunger Games fans of
yeah.
the book. So this is another instance where you both were really into the book. Did you both read them when they came out?
I saw the first movie, then went back, read all 3 books. And then by the time the second movie had come out, I'd read the trilogy.
Okay.
I read the books before the movies came out, but just barely. A good friend of mine, her mother had recommended them to us, and she got around to reading them, and I just put it off. And then finally, somebody at work actually was saying, hey, I'm reading this book because a movie's coming out. And I was like, oh, I'll read it. And I went, made it my full personality. It was wonderful.
You started carrying around a bow and arrow and looking out for...
my hair was in braids all the time. And
you got really good at whistling?
Yes, I can whistle. Can you whistle?
That'll sound awesome on a podcast.
I can't whistle. I mean, I learned how to snap my fingers 5 years ago, and I can really only do it with my right hand. So
I love this.
Great for an audio medium, but I can do this.
Oh, look at you.
So that's got to be.
I don't think I can.
Most people can't.
No.
Most people can do one side if they
a stroke.
Yeah.
And then they can do the other side maybe if they close their eye, but I can. So some sad news.
By the way, I'm Rosie Paige, and I'm from Nailed It Novels. So happy to be here.
And you're also going to be from Paperback Previews, our new sort of little segment that we're going to start co-hosting, which is all about books and movies, because we like talking about books and movies. Michael and I talk about movies. You talk about books. And then you might be on Paperback Previews occasionally as well.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like the obvious crossover spectacular that the world needs.
You're welcome, world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, I know this episode's going to come out probably in a couple of weeks, but one of our favorite performers recently passed, Catherine O'Hara, the world's mom. When Diane Keaton passed last year, we were enormously sad. We'd covered 2 of her films. And I don't think we've covered Catherine O'Hara on here at all, but I have so much love for her, and she will be deeply, deeply missed. What a phenomenal performer. What an amazing comedian. I adore her immensely.
Yeah, I always have like this moment of weird like reflection when there is a celebrity who passes and I feel some kind of like I'm affected in some way by it.
Yeah.
Because these are people I don't know.
Yeah.
But it sort of checks my cynicism a little bit on like the idea of celebrity. Like I tend to be like, those people, who cares? They live in their own little bubble. And it's largely true, but I think it highlights, I don't know, like the importance of art and how we consume art and what it means to us when someone who has given us something that actually like it does matter. And I think it's a decent reminder of that.
I think there's also something about someone like Catherine O'Hara who did celebrity so well. She did it so naturally. She did so real.
Goodness.
Yeah, I don't think that she was ever somebody that you thought of as being a celebrity. She always seemed like a friend. She always seemed like just Kevin McAllister's mom.
And this is where I'm going to say something nice about a people I usually am not nice to.
Oh.
I think it's because she's Canadian.
Have you been to the Canadian Center in Epcot?
Yeah, I've been to Canada.
Well, no,
yes,
I know,
I've also been to
but you know.
Oh, yeah, the
360.
The 360.
Yeah, she and Eugene Levy represent.
She's so funny in it.
I know. They represent Canada there, and it's really wonderful. And it makes me long to go back and just hear her voice again in there because she is so funny. There's just this lightness and just, everybody from SCTV, like what an incredible crew. So anyway, lots of love out to her. And then the other big news this week, fun pivot, we had our Oscar nominees all get announced.
I love award season. This is another one where I pretend to be very cynical about like awards.
No, you don't. You love awards. I've never heard.
But
you
I
say
love them, right?
Yeah,
I do. I really love them.
You watch all of them
I like
too.
all the pomp and circumstance. I even like the red carpet bullshit.
You were telling me you were going to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I do. I love them. And I can't tell you why, because my brain tells me that it's stupid and corrupt and doesn't matter and the right stuff never gets awarded.
But that hasn't been true lately. I actually think the right stuff has been getting
better.
It's gotten so much better.
Changed their
it's not
voting
perfect.
bodies and rules, and
this year is going to be a mess. But
this one's going to be. It's a really weird year.
It's a very weird year.
But I do. I like award shows.
What do you think of the nominees this year, you two?
I think that the nominees, especially Best Picture, we talked about this a little bit, are really kind of broken up. I think there's like 4 or 5 that like really make sense, and then other movies that just seem to be tacked on.
I feel the same way. This is a year where a 5 nominee list would have made a lot more sense than a 10. There are 5 that we 100% know are not winning. F1 is not winning. Sorry to your popcorn bucket.
I'm so glad it's on there because now you have to watch it.
I wasn't necessarily opposed to watching it. Well, what about you, Rosie? Thoughts on the Oscars?
Really excited to see some of the movies that are on that list. I had a pretty big movie year, and some of the movies that I thought would be on it are just not.
I know. A lot of my bets, we went pretty hard in January and December trying to watch Oscar movies before the announcements, and I think I whiffed it on every front.
None
of them became Oscar movies. In fact,
we thought were contenders.
We're
not.
One that I specifically watched, even just because I was like, I want to watch this, but had nothing with the Oscars, was Frankenstein. Did not think that was going to be an Oscar movie, and sure enough, there it is.
Frankenstein popped up kind of a lot, which is surprising to me for multiple reasons. One being that I think it's a decent movie.
Yeah, it's fine. Nothing against it. It's an amazing work of production design and makeup.
Which is really what Del Toro does best these days, it seems.
Yeah, he makes monster movies, but does that make it a Best Picture nominee?
No, I would have nominated Hellboy before I would have nominated Frankenstein.
Yeah, I think it belongs there as much as F1 does, though. It's a technical achievement, and I appreciate that. So, although Elordi, what did he win at? He won at the Critics.
He won the Critics' Choice,
which was very shocking because that is such it's such a competitive year for Best Supporting Actor.
And Elordi seems like the type of win that would have happened at like the old Golden Globes and not the Critic Choice Awards.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because the Golden Globes used to just be out of step with everybody else. What is it? Pinball Wizard, the Who movie, like won there, and like nobody watched. Like they always picked the weird left
the Golden
field
Globes
movies.
used to be the ones where like if you just went to enough parties, you could win a Golden Globe.
Yeah, you could buy a Golden Globe. They were for sale.
I'm excited that Marty Supreme sort of overperformed in the nominations. Marty Supreme is my favorite movie that I've seen so far this year.
Interesting.
And it's mine too. It's Ari's also.
And it's getting, I don't know, the discourse is really interesting around it. It has like a very strong fandom, but has a backlash to it too.
Well, there's kind of a smear campaign that's been coming out against it. Pretty interesting. In fact, I heard an interview with Josh Safdie recently on Conan's podcast, and great conversation, super interesting interview. Highly recommend listening to it. But at one point, Conan asked him, he said, "Oh, yeah, wasn't this based on the life of Marty Hauser?" And Safdie was like, "No, it was inspired by, not based on. We really just kind of used it as a base point." But he was like very quick, because that is one of the things that's coming out, which is that basically they stole the life of this person to make this movie. And Safdie was trying to quell that immediately. And you could tell he was a little bit like quick on the no with Conan. Like he didn't want to come after Conan because Conan is beloved and also going to be hosting the Oscars.
Well, and if I can see why Marty Hauser's family maybe wouldn't love this version of his life story.
Or not Hauser. What is his name?
Or, that's in the movie. Huh?
It's Mauser in the
Mauser
story.
in
That's
the
right.
movie.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, I
have a Safdie-verse theory that Marty Mauser is the father of Howard Ratner.
Yeah,
Uncut Gems.
I kind of like this. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think that like New York sort of subculture underworld connection. I love both movies, so I'm happy to just accept that theory without even like really picking it apart too much.
Apparently, there was an ending of the film that was changed in which Marty was at a concert. Oh my God, I forget what artist, but he was at some concert in the 80s with his daughter, and they're sitting there watching, and like he's aged, and so it would obviously destroy your theory, but it wasn't in the movie, so it doesn't kill your theory, thankfully. But he's sitting there, and Kevin O'Leary's character comes up and is the same age as he was and bites him and takes a bite out of his neck because he is in fact a vampire.
That's so good.
I
love that.
And they ended up, apparently like the executives were like, "You're not really doing this, right?" And he was like, "No, we already they had all the prosthetics for like Chalamet's neck and everything set up." And they were like, "You cannot end the movie this way. You like we
could see why a studio would say that,
we refuse to let you do it."
The movie's batshit crazy enough that like I would have been there for that.
What a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
I like
why
I
not
like
just
the
say
ending of the
fucking
movie.
go?
Oh, 100%. I like the ending, but
That would have made it my favorite movie of the year as well.
that would have absolutely slayed.
I
That would have
think
been amazing.
O'Leary was slept on. I mean, it is a
Marty Reisman.
okay.
Reisman.
Yeah, 'cause
Reisman.
it's a competitive year for supporting actor, but I actually thought O'Leary was like perfect in that role.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But Safdie is incredible at casting, just absolutely incredible at casting, which actually is a great pivot into, because we have some interesting casting in our movies this weekend. And actually, I really love some of the casting in one of our picks. So because it is March of 2012, I think it's time to take a look at the marquee and see what's playing this weekend, Michael.
All right. It is a packed week.
I've got a whole thing for you now. All right. Let me see. Where did I put this? Did I put it in here? I thought I had it. Maybe I blew this. Oh, I got it. Okay, here we go. Sorry. My bad.
All right. March 23rd, 2012. Busy weekend at the theaters. It is headlined by The Hunger Games. Number one by a lot. Made $152 million its opening weekend. It was an absolute cultural phenomenon. 21 Jump Street, The Lorax, John Carter, not a cultural phenomenon.
In its own way.
In its own way. Act of Valor, 1,000 Words, Project X, from the people who brought you The Hangover, I believe. Yeah.
No thanks, people.
October Baby, Safehouse, Journey to the Mysterious Island, And then way down at number 26, The Raid Redemption.
You chose The Raid Redemption, playing in all of 17 theaters. Made it a little hard to screen hop this weekend. We had to take a flight to do it. What made you choose The Raid?
So The Raid opened this weekend. It did eventually get a real release. Sony Pictures, the distributor, got it into like 800 theaters by week 3. So there was ample opportunity to see this movie, if not this weekend, in a couple. This is one that was a festival darling. It premiered at Toronto.
I was going to say, it was much beloved at TIFF, right?
Yeah, it screened at Sundance, did really well when it screened at South by Southwest. Feels very much like a South by Southwest kind of movie.
Yes.
And people loved this movie. I saw it back in 2012, I believe at a festival. I think it screened at the San Francisco International Film Festival. If it wasn't a film festival, it was a sort of press event around festival season.
It feels like a movie that would really excite a festival audience.
Yeah. And
it's very visceral.
I remember not much about it except that it was like a pretty good time, but I was not as enthused as the people around me. And so it seemed like a really good opportunity to sort of revisit it and try to like get off the fence.
Okay. Well, I love it. I'm glad you picked it. It was a super fun pick. I didn't even see it way down there on the list. Plus, I wasn't planning on buying a plane ticket to go see a movie this weekend, but here we are. And then, Rosie, you showed up for the Hunger Games. You decided this was going to be worth your morning. So what made you decide this was worth it?
Again, love the Hunger Games book series. Have read all of the books, including the spinoffs and prequels. So I just figured it's action packed. Why not have a great time watching these movies and get a little more action in with Safehouse, which I'm gonna be so real. I thought was more comedic than it was. So.
It does not have a comic bone in its body.
Ryan Reynolds and Denzel Washington. What could be funnier?
2012 Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. We'll get into that.
I'm an actor, Ryan Reynolds.
It's dead ass serious, this movie.
So, jumped on that train, and I took a train, not a plane.
You didn't take a plane? Yeah. You went for the view?
I feel like you could.
Was it a fast hover train?
Speed train.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I chose Safehouse this weekend, and I will tell you, I chose Safehouse for 2 reasons. A, I'm always showing up for Denzel Washington. Mm-hmm. It's just, he can be in a bad movie, but he is never bad in a movie.
Yeah.
I went and saw Gladiator 2 in theaters, and you know what? No regrets.
Yeah.
And also, Andre Braugher's Captain Holt on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he has superb and strange taste, and somehow has seen the movie, his character, Safehouse, and it's referenced in the movie. And I was like, well, if it's good enough for Captain Holt, by God, it's good enough for me.
I can't think of a better reason to see a movie.
It's literally why I picked it. It's because I like it when Sandberg says, a safe house watching Safehouse is a safe house.
He's been saying that all week.
I'm sure you're not tired of it at all.
Not at all.
And you won't be tired of it by the end of the episode. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive headfirst into the Safehouse. We'll be back with more Screen Hoppers in just a moment. Welcome back to the Screen Hoppers. It is March 2012, and we're going to talk all about Safehouse and The Raid Redemption, our 2 movies that we chose before we hopped into the Hunger Games. We're going to go ahead and start with my movie, Safehouse, which I have a little summary here. I'm going to go ahead and read. I'm going to stop trying to memorize this stuff because I just can't do it, apparently. Ryan Reynolds plays Matt, a bored CIA agent in Johannesburg with a cute French girlfriend and a tedious job overseeing a safe house. All of that is disrupted when Denzel Washington's notorious ex-super agent turned American traitor, Tobin Frost, not to be confused with Snow, either Edward or the other. Everybody's so cold.
Cornelius.
Shows up at his doorsteps in Cornelius Snow. Shows up at his doorsteps in cuffs and proves that the safe house isn't so safe. But that's not the only thing that isn't what it seems. So this is an action thriller that feels like Training Day had a baby with the Bourne Identity, and that baby maybe got C's in school.
Yeah. That's about
I
right.
thought you were going somewhere else with that.
What did you think I was going to say?
I don't know. Had a fishtail?
had a. I try not to shame people with any particular growths when they're born, you know, even if they're fishtails, which.
I feel like it would be okay to point out the fishtail.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't know. I don't know
if
what.
It's okay. I think.
You just thought I was going to say something more offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually thought about saying something more offensive. Like the offensive thing came into my head, and I was like, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to find
what
a.
was
I'm
it?
gonna Nope.
Now I need to know.
Safe space.
We're in a safe
Ian.
house.
You know, millennial humor, right? Everything that was not good enough rode the what bus? Yeah. It's not even that funny. It wasn't even worth it. I preferred Got Season School because honestly, the movie's not even that bad. It really is just fine.
It's a fine movie.
It's a fine action thriller. And so I think that a really good place to start, honestly, because we did R.I.P.D. in season 1 is this is Ryan Reynolds before he does R.I.P.D. and generally considered to be part of his like rising star moment. Like he's going to be an action star and that's what we're all expecting. And this movie helps him on that journey. But like, what do you both think of Ryan Reynolds in this movie?
I think that Ryan Reynolds was fine in this movie. He's the star of the movie. It really is a Ryan Reynolds vehicle, but
It doesn't feel like one.
you have Denzel Washington right there. And if Denzel Washington's right there, that's what I'm paying attention to. And Denzel is great.
It actually felt like a weird mistake for not for them to make the movie, but for him to take this role because it's no matter how good he is in it, he is going to look subpar next to Denzel Washington.
Yeah,
and that was
Denzel
my sense.
Washington has to do is sort of smirk at the camera a little bit, and that's all you notice.
But the problem is he doesn't just smirk at the camera. He chews the scenery.
Oh, it is like Meryl Streep level scenery chewing.
This is like the Denzel Washington show. Like this movie, honestly, was. I said I wanted to see it because Denzel Washington was in it, and I will tell you that he was the reason to watch it. He's awesome as
Denzel
Tobin
Washington,
Frost.
It's like he did Training Day and got all the like accolades for Training Day and was like, "Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet."
I'm just gonna keep on doing this.
Yeah.
And he's been leaning into it ever since. And honestly, he's really good in this movie. He's fun to watch.
He really is. There's like a couple scenes in Cars where he just kind of like does his Denzel thing. He's always a step ahead of everyone else and wants to make sure that you know it. And I had fun with those parts of this movie. I actually really
did
liked
too.
that.
I did too. How did you think Ryan Reynolds did up against Denzel Washington in these scenes?
Ryan Reynolds was in this movie? Here's the thing. If Ryan Reynolds isn't playing funny, then he's not entertaining me. And it's okay. He doesn't have to entertain me, but he was
Well, I think he figured that out finally, like later in his career. This is post Green Lantern, Green Hornet. I forget which green thing he was.
He was the Green Lantern.
Yeah, which was a huge failure. And they even referenced that in Deadpool. And then this was sort of like considered to be a step in the right direction. But again, I don't know that it was. I think it was good for like his box office gross because this movie did fine. It did well.
It made like $200 million.
Yeah, it totally did well. Good international thriller. Same cinematographer as the Bourne movies, which why it feels so much like a Bourne movie. And then he stepped right into R.I.P.D. again, going up against an actor who's going to steal every scene, or should have stolen every scene, except Jeff Bridges managed to instead help him ruin that movie. So yeah, it was. I agree. Like that could have been any actor, and I probably wouldn't have cared or noticed who
they
it
could have
was.
saved money.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it goes back to our theory that we talked about on that prior episode: is why did he get so many chances? Why did Ryan Reynolds get so many chances to finally? Is it that face?
So it's funny that you say that because I actually don't think he's attractive.
You don't think he's a cutie? He's just got that
I
like
don't
little.
think he's unattractive. I'm not like he's ugly. I don't know. What else would you say? I don't think he's ugly, but I don't think he's attractive.
But I
he's
think that's
married
what
to a
he's-
really attractive woman.
On the outside.
Wait, who's a really attractive woman?
That's true. Blake Lively.
Oh, Blake Lively. I thought you said he was a really attractive. He would make a really attractive woman. No.
I'd watch that movie.
Yeah, I was like his version of White Chicks. No. Don't make that.
But I think that's what we're being sold with Ryan Reynolds. Is heartthrob.
Yeah.
And it also makes this choice kind of weird though then, right? Because
I don't think he wanted to be a heartthrob. I think that's kind of what I took away from this as well. That may have been what we were being sold at a lot of times. I never felt like that was what he necessarily wanted to be. He has this kind of darker sense of humor, and he wanted something more for himself. So
I think he has a darkness that he masks with a sense of humor.
That's
a different conversation.
What's your favorite Ryan Reynolds like flick or role?
Gosh, I mean, Deadpool's the obvious one.
But you have to pick a Deadpool then. But.
The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I actually think it's more Sandra Bullock than it is Ryan Reynolds, but I like the movie The Proposal. Like as a rom-com, I think that one's fun.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either, but you're not alone in that.
Yeah.
I am surprised that you didn't go with my obvious pick, which is Detective Pikachu.
That was my pick too.
Yeah, Detective Pikachu, best role he's ever done.
Yeah.
Closely followed by Deadpool.
I don't think you're wrong.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. I love Detective Pikachu. Why did that movie get a sequel?
I don't know because we're way over here.
Yeah, we are.
But that movie was, I think, an okay movie, but it was in a world that I want to spend more time in.
Oh, yeah.
Like that version of the Pokeverse, if that's what we want to call it, like is really cool.
You know, the script wasn't a Pokemon script, right?
No, but
it was a comedy detective script that
they just grafted Pokemon onto.
Yeah, that they like bought and were like, what if we Pokemon this up?
That they should do that with they should make like 5 sequels and they should just buy like blacklist scripts.
Yeah.
And
you got us back. Safehouse was a blacklist script.
Oh, was it?
It actually was a really,
so
I know, that was awesome. So it actually was a really big, it was actually a really big deal. It was people were bidding over it. It was a really huge deal. It was written by an editor. This was his first film. He was writing on his lunch breaks and triggered a huge bidding war. When the studio finally got it and made it, this is why they got this. I mean, honestly, it's a pretty great cast, although there's only 4 characters in it, which I do actually think hurts the movie. It'd be interesting to see if the original script only kind of had 4 speaking roles, because you've got Vera, Brendan Gleeson. I'm not saying her last name because I don't know how to say it. Farmiga.
I always go Farmiga, but it's probably wrong.
I don't know, but Brendan Gleeson, who I love, which is actually the other reason I wanted to see this movie, is
good in this too.
He's good in everything. Yeah. Has Brendan Gleeson ever been bad in anything? I mean, he's played some of my favorite roles. The Banshees of Inisherin, he is so watchable. And then Paddington 2, Harry Potter, it goes on. But and then Denzel Washington, Ryan Reynolds, and then obviously you've got, and I forget the actor's name now, but the Onion Knight who plays him. Liam, yeah, that's his name. Yes, Liam something, and he has a small role in it. But basically, this for me was like the core problem of the movie, which is that someone is betraying the CIA, someone is bad, but there are only 4 people.
Yeah,
and it's not Denzel Washington, and it's not Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Denzel Washington is set up as being the one, and the movie. That's just not the movie we're watching, so it's not him.
Yeah, exactly. But when I say betraying, like the person who's telling these killers where to find him and how to crack the safe house, which, by the way, for a movie called Safehouse, very little of it takes place in a safe house.
No, I mean, there are 2 safe houses.
And both of them have very short.
Yeah, neither are particularly safe.
Yeah.
Barely houses.
But when you're guessing at who is betraying them, you only have a couple of options, and it can't be Denzel Washington. It can't be Ryan Reynolds. So that means it's Vera Farmiga or Brendan Gleeson. And I have to ask, at what point did you guess it was Brendan Gleeson?
I mean, kind of right away.
Like 7 minutes into the movie?
Yeah. Because Vera Farmiga.
Vera, we'll get this right.
Her character plays very earnest. She seems like she's doing her job, doing it well. She's the competent one. And then Brendan Gleeson is the one who's sort of been at it a while. He's the veteran. He's
Farmiga.
Okay.
Farmiga.
So his character just is the one that makes sense. And so, you kind of know. Like when it happens, it doesn't even play as a twist.
It really doesn't. I time-stamped when I figured it out. I looked at Rosie and I was like, it's him. And it was like, I think we were like 22 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
And so when he shoots Vera's character, I was like, uh-huh.
Yeah. That's what he's going to do because he has to.
Yeah, which is also like the plot of every 2012 movie, which is one of the other things I wanted to talk about. It's very interesting to me. Maybe this is just like a cultural phenomenon that I'm making up, But I feel like when a Democrat's been in office long enough, we get a bunch of movies that don't trust the government. And when a Republican's been in office long enough, we start to get a bunch of movies that don't trust billionaires. And it just depends on who has more perceived power that we start making movies about who's going to hurt us. Like we went and saw Relay last year, and that was all about the billionaires, but pretty much the same movie.
Yeah, I mean, the plot here is incredibly boilerplate. So...
It's weird that it was such a sought after script.
Yeah, because I feel like ChatGPT could have written this movie.
What made it such a special script that it wound up on the blacklist, that it triggered this bidding war? Like, I'm so interested to know what made this feel special. And maybe this is part of that going back to 2012 and that distrust. This is just right before Edward Snowden, which is what I was trying to reference earlier when I said Snowden, Frost. It all feels very connected in a really strange way. But there did seem to be like this moment where we were just like, the people that are keeping the secrets are not trustworthy. They're dirty. We don't trust them. And there's a sentiment that we want to see that played out in these big action dramas. And this movie just scratched that itch, I think, for people. Yeah,
you're probably right. I am very confused by the whole blacklist script thing, because this movie makes sense that it would be a hit, but it makes sense that it's a hit because it's Denzel Washington doing the Denzel Washington thing.
And it being a blacklist is pre-Denzel Washington.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap my head around that.
But there had to be something in there that wanted Denzel Washington to attach himself. And I wonder, maybe what made it a special script is that character of Tobin Frost. Maybe the way that character was written, they knew that an actor of Denzel Washington's caliber would want to attach himself to it. And maybe that's what made it special. Because he is a well-written, I mean, at the very least, he's a well-written character.
It's a well-written character, and the movie's not, like, hacky. Right? No,
it's not. It's very competent. It's Daniel Espinosa's first American language film. He's a Chilean-Swedish director who has since made a couple like notable movies. A movie Life with Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds that I actually kind of want to see now that I was reading over. And then he made the much maligned Morbius. But he's competent. He has an action film. I found an interview with him on a Swedish channel. He has an action film coming up with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Okay.
And I'm like, I would watch that.
Yeah. I mean, there is nothing wrong with kind of an empty action movie if it has like a role where you can have kind of this like star vehicle where someone can carry a plot and you sort of are just there to watch them do that. And I think that's why this movie, again, like I didn't dislike it. I didn't have a bad time watching it. It didn't feel like a chore. Like some movies do when they don't have much plot or the plot's very predictable. This just felt very much, it was paint by numbers, and the paint that they chose was perfectly fine.
Yeah. What do you think?
Product of the times.
Product of the times?
It was enjoyable. I'm not upset that we watched it, but of the three movies, it is not my favorite.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that meaty role, I mean, there is a really great scene that I do want to quickly cut to and talk a little bit about it, because I think it's monologues like these that probably got it blacklisted.
Yeah.
Consider how your house was attacked in the first place. Have you done that, Matt?
They followed Kiefer, they followed him from the consulate, and that's how they found the safe
You don't
house.
really believe that, do you? I mean, how did they know I was near the consulate in the first place? But I like this, you know, you and me figuring shit out.
I love his energy in it. I really do.
Yeah.
That house was a secure location. Whoever crashed it didn't stop by a gas station and ask for directions to the nearest safe house. They were invited. Someone told them, Matthew. Think about it. Someone
you know,
so you better ask
like
yourself,
this
can you
and
trust
have it
your
be
landlord?
like gripping.
Go ahead, you're not going to get in my head.
Because that's all
I already am
this
in
is.
your head.
Yeah.
They're going to isolate you, Matt. They're going to be real nice to you at first. They're going to put their arm around you and tell you things like, you did a decent job, son. We'll take it from here. That's when you know you're screwed. Forget about me. They're going to focus on you. They're going to try and make a connection between you and I, so that if this all goes wrong, they'll have something to fall back on in their little Senate hearing.
And that is literally what happens in the movie. If you watch it, and again, even if you aren't expecting that somebody on the inside is the person who's betraying him, if you just listen to the words that Denzel Washington is saying, Tobin Frost, and you watch Brendan Gleeson, he offers him a promotion at the end and is like, don't worry, you did such a good job. And he did it earlier, and he puts his arm around him. And they do a little bit of a head fake, making you think it might be the French girlfriend with the Ivy League education that's a doctor that has like 4 lines, but is basically just like the eye candy for the movie, which these movies, like, I guess they always need. I don't know.
Need it, but she's not really used very much. So. Yeah, I think that scene, it's a good scene.
It's a good scene.
Right?
I think that scene is what got this blacklisted.
Scene.
It's a great scene.
But to the point you were making earlier, I had already done that math by the time this scene rolls around. And so he's not actually teaching us anything. And, and that's kind of the problem.
I think probably it is those types of scenes that got an actor, that was going to get an actor like that attached, and that's what got the script where it got it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Denzel Washington, putting myself in his shoes, I'd be down.
Yeah. But like I said, really competent filmmakers worked on this. It's not a bad film. I'm happy to recommend it. You know, good cinematographer with a great record, worked on Will Ferrell movies and all the Bourne movies. Actually, the production designer, as you know, I always love my production designers. This is their prestige hire. Bridget Broach is an Academy Award winner who, worked on Moulin Rouge, Romeo and Juliet, Amoris Paris, Babel, and 21 Grams.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, like, again, very competent people put this movie together. It's a great post 9/11 spy sort of thriller movie. It scratches all of these itches. I just think it just turned out to be just okay, though. And that's why it probably got forgotten.
Yeah. I mean, it made sense from a business perspective. You churn it out, it turns a profit, and it doesn't have to be more than that.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts on Safehouse and hearing me never say Safehouse, watching Safehouse is a safe house?
No comment.
Well, in that case, let's pivot to The Raid, Redemption.
The Raid,
Michael's pick for March.
Yeah, so The Raid, directed by Welsh director Gareth Evans, who had made a couple of small Malaysian martial arts movies prior to this. This was sort of his coming out party because it was a big festival hit. It follows Rama, who is a rookie cop who's being brought on this mission. I don't know what we want to call it.
I think it's a raid.
It's a raid.
He brought on a raid.
Where they are going to try to take in a crime boss who is running his syndicate out of an apartment building. And the movie just sort of takes place as they go level by level through this apartment building till they can get to the penthouse to find the crime lord.
It was Streets of Rage, the movie. Like those old NES side-scrolling brawler games.
Yeah.
I was telling Rosie when we were watching it, because we watched it together last night. We said something about, like, they keep killing these guys. How do we know they're bad? I'm like, because they're bad guys.
Because they're the bad guys.
Because they're the bad guys.
Oh no, the guy
had bullets in his pocket. She's like, yeah, that guy just walked around with bullets in his sweatpants pockets.
Obviously bad guys.
Yeah.
He reaches into his pocket because he's holding a gun. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out bullets
out of his sweatpants. From his sweatpants pocket.
Loads the gun with it. And I was like, so he's just carrying around bullets?
Yep.
And Ian's like, obviously he's a bad guy.
Yeah. He's a low-level bad guy. He's not a boss bad guy. He's not a mid-boss bad guy, but he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
If he's walking towards you, he's a bad guy.
Did get a lot of comparisons to video games because it plays like one.
I mean, it really played like one of those old school street brawlers to me. I was like, this is fun.
And that's it. I mean, I feel like I owe Top Gun an apology. In our last movie, we talked about Top Gun not really being a movie,
being a vibe,
had no characters. It was just a sequence of vibes.
But you did pick it as your movie for the weekend. Yeah, so I don't know if you owe it an apology.
And like, if that movie is just a sequence of vibes, The Raid is absolutely just a vibe. It is action set piece after action set piece after action set piece. I don't think there's a ton of connective tissue. And it is like a good time. Like, I understand why a festival audience, when you are in that mood to consume a movie,
and you've been watching boring dramas from sad, like suburban white boys that got whose movies got funded by their parents all afternoon, and then you get this. There's
like a communal aspect to watching a movie
all
at a
about
festival
trauma
that I didn't get in my living room, right? Watching this. But I will kind of stand by my initial assessment. If I have to come off the fence, I'm coming off the fence negatively.
Wow. I really liked this movie. I was so glad that you picked it.
Yeah, I know that I'm in the minority, like very much so in the minority. And so I dug. I was like, am I alone in this? What am I missing?
Yeah.
And I found Roger Ebert gave this 1 star out of 4, was ripped apart for doing so, and wrote a follow-up essay sort of explaining himself.
Ripping apart Roger Ebert is a waste of time and energy.
Yeah.
He will stand by his decision. I think he only changed like 1 or 2 reviews in his career.
Yeah, and he's also not afraid to be contrarian, which I appreciated about him. And even if I disagreed with him on a movie, I never disagreed with him on how he wrote up said movie.
Oh, I mean,
but what he said about this movie, and I think it really does kind of encapsulate my feelings, is he says, quote, "This will be dismissed by some readers as a manifestation of my lack of enthusiasm for video games. Perhaps so. I think it springs more from my affection for characters, plot, human nature, and other elements possible in movies."
See, I hear what he's saying, but I'm going to argue, like, we kind of put off watching this movie because we had a lot going on. We were tired. We were busy. And we knew it was a foreign language film. And we wanted to be able to dedicate attention, especially we had started it and watched the first like 15, 20 minutes of it.
And we were both just really tired. And we're like, you know what?
This is hard to pay attention to because we have to read subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on. They're saying, hey, hold the newbies back. Like, don't let these rookies go in. This is a big case. And we're like, okay, there's going to be a lot of plot. There's going to be a lot of substance that we have to read into, not just watch. And when we actually watched it, we were like, oh, no, it's all visual. I think the only part that I needed an explanation for was, oh, they're brothers. They didn't just grow up together. Cool. But other than that, like, it was all action and I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved every moment of it. As a martial artist, I loved this movie.
I think that I do take issue actually with Roger Ebert's explanation because he was the one who was always like, you got to meet a movie where it's at.
He actually references that
because that's not meeting it where it's at though. Like that statement that you read is saying, well, you have to have all of these things for it to be a movie. Okay, well, what is this movie trying to be? And one of the things I really liked about this movie is that without feeling sparse, it was hyper focused. It was, here are your players, here is your setting, here is the thrust of this movie. This for me is like a Mad Max scenario where I'm like, I know the 5 people that are important in this movie. I know what their goal is. I am along for this ride.
Yeah.
And yes, the writing could have been better. I think building out the characters is where, I mean, Mad Max obviously sets itself apart in that the sparse lines you get, these characters are really round and full because every line is so imbued with meaning and texture. Whereas there's a lot of like pretty cliche copy paste cop lines in this.
Yeah.
But it still does all of the other action set pieces and parts of that, I think, for me, really well in that I had so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I think it is impressive. The choreography in this movie is amongst the best you can find. Like, I will not knock it for that. Those fight sequences, I do find myself, and maybe it's a symptom of not having a plot. Like, I found myself thinking a lot more about like, oh, how did they shoot this? As opposed to like, this is moving the movie forward in any important way.
See, I like having that. I had that thought plenty of times. I kept pointing out to Reza, I'm like, they did that in one shot. They didn't do any cuts. Mm-hmm. And that's so cool because that means that stuntman had to jump up in the air, fall on his back, roll over. Although I will say, like, that whole set had to absolutely be made out of foam, and there were a lot of Foley sound effects that were doing a lot of work for them in that movie.
Yeah.
Especially every time somebody got thrown into a wall, they would make that, like, clinking crack sound, which I'm like, it makes your bones do this, but you're like, that guy probably hit foam.
Yeah, there's a scene where someone gets like thrown off of a balcony and hits the balcony.
They both go off that. They both do. Yeah, he takes him out the window. That scene was dope.
Yeah, and so like tons of really cool action set pieces. I'm not panning this movie by any means.
Were you bored by it?
By the end.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, it
loses steam in the last, like, I'd say probably 10 minutes.
Yeah, I would just say, like, I liked the action set pieces, And then I liked every subsequent action set piece less than the one before it because it just started to feel drawn out. And it's not a long movie.
No, nice short runtime.
Yeah, but what I do really like about this movie is the way it was treated by the studio. This is a Malaysian movie made for about $1 million. Super small. It could have died on the festival circuit. And instead, Sony bought it. They bought it before it was a festival hit. They invested in it. They hired Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park to rescore the movie for the American release.
I thought that score sounded like a Linkin Park knockoff track.
Yeah. And then they gave it a wide release. It made it into 881 theaters by its third week. It made $4 million theatrically, which against that $1 million budget, it probably broke even after, the investment.
Maybe. I was going to say, how much did they pay for the movie?
They didn't publish that.
I don't think they made money. I think they probably overpaid for it. They probably thought it was going to do well.
It did make $10 million on DVD and Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, it had a second life. I know because I'd heard about this movie before. Like I said, if I'd seen it further down the list, I might have actually picked it because I've wanted to see this and its sequel for a while.
Yeah, and then just a fun little piece of trivia. So in the United States, it was released as The Raid Redemption. It had that subtitle, made it sound like it was a sequel to a movie that didn't exist.
It did, which honestly, those old Streets of Rage games did the same thing.
And it was a copyright issue. There's an old movie already called The Raid.
Got it.
Copyright law or trademark law, whichever one it is, has been updated since, so that's not an issue. But there was a 1950s movie called The Raid that was sort of grandfathered. And
the great irony of that is there's another Safehouse movie that's more recent that we were trying to figure out which one to watch.
Yeah, and so they threw on the subtitle, and I don't understand the subtitle, the redemption. Like where's
who's redeemed?
Who is redeemed? And
maybe his brother?
Is he though? And I think that's
a little.
Something that
except that he's not to spoil, but he's like the big bad at the end.
He is, right? And he's
his brother?
Yeah.
Well, so we find out, just to kind of lay it out there, that the raid was set up by like captain of the police, someone higher up in the police who was working with the bad guys and basically needed to kill the crime boss to sort of hide his involvement in the crime. We also find out that one of the lower level people is the brother of the main rookie cop.
Yeah, he's like a lieutenant to the big bad in the building.
Yeah, and so there's that parallel, right, of the two brothers. But the brother's not really redeemed. I mean, the brother walks back into the house, the apartment building at the end. I don't get it. There's more redemption in Safehouse than there is in the raid, redemption.
There is a lot more redemption in Safehouse. That's true. No, I'm grasping at straws, just to be clear. But I'm trying to think of who else is redeemed. I don't know. My love of Peach Hack Salit was redeemed.
Yeah.
Didn't know I loved that martial art form, but here we are.
Yeah, there's just there's so little plot, and then the fanboys of this movie were like, yeah, they had to do the subtitle, but at least it ties back into the themes of the movie. And I'm just like, the movie didn't have themes. What are you talking about?
The movie is themeless. I'm not a fanboy of the movie. I had a fun time with the movie, but I'm not going to try to defend its plot or any of those things. It was really fun to watch. I just had a good time watching it.
Yeah, and I think in a festival environment, great time. I would, even though I'm not loving the movie right now, I'd go to a midnight screening of this movie.
Oh yeah,
because
it'd be so fun
with the right crowd reacting to the action scenes and the ultra violence of this movie. It is incredibly violent and graphic in its depiction of that violence.
When they use the
machete through a wall.
No, the butter spreader into the bullet hole. Oh. That was the one that made me squirm.
All of that stuff would be a really good time in a communal setting, but it just didn't hold me at home.
Did you watch it by yourself?
I did. Yeah.
I watched it with her. I wonder if it would have been as good by myself, But I just genuinely had a really good time with it. I bought it, and I will say no regrets.
Yeah, I mean, it's available for like $6 on iTunes.
Yeah.
Like, if you're at all interested in the movie, like, go for it.
Yeah. Did you just give it your rating?
Yeah, kind of.
Sort of.
Not
Yeah.
really.
Any final thoughts on the Raid Redemption from the book corner? I know it was not based on a book, and if it were a book, it would have been more of a pamphlet.
It's one of those pamphlets that's like has the pictures depicting of if you would like to learn how to be a badass.
How to do martial arts. It would just be a pamphlet of like diagrams of proper.
Yes, it has somebody throwing somebody else over their shoulder.
I mean,
Like,
it would have
there's
been
that
bifold.
whipping
There's not
motion.
even enough
There
there
would have been
for trifold.
yeah.
There would have been wall slam, the neck breaker, to throw a guy out the window.
Yeah, it's specifically going over your shoulder, like that hoisting motion that you
Yeah,
see.
you need like a
where they're
lever for.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's like
there's the
an indicator,
arrows, and
hey,
it's
they're going out the window.
That's what book it would have been based on. Yeah. But
I would read that book. I would read anything. That's
I'd read
put
that
in front of me.
instruction manual.
Yeah. Like an IKEA instruction manual, no words, just some pictures.
A little smiling guy with a wrench and a knife.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every time they come at that main character with a knife, at Rama with a knife, I'm like, oh, you've made a terrible mistake. He's going to take that knife away from you.
I will say, like, good on them for figuring out a way to kind of get rid of all the guns early.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, there would be no.
Maybe that was the other thing I like, because this was sort of like, this is pre-John Wick, but like definitely leads into like the John Wick verse, I think, in a lot of ways. And one of the things I honestly don't care for in John Wick is that the best set piece is always in the middle. And it's always like a downhill slide from there. And I actually do lose interest, whereas the best set piece of this in a lot of ways is actually near the end, the double fight with Mad Dog. Oh, Mad Dog.
I like that his name is just off screen, like, hey, hold that elevator, Mad Dog.
Mad Dog. Yeah, because I don't know if anybody ever says a lot of characters' names are just never said.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people in it, but not very many like speaking
I
roles.
struggle remembering character names as it is. This
Yeah.
movie, like, oh my gosh.
It's pretty tricky. But yeah, they get rid of the guns, and so you actually get to have a martial arts movie rather than just, my other thing with John Wick is like a lot of it is him just getting up close and shooting people.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of just shooting someone from up close. And I'm sort of like, but why? Whereas once they get rid of the bullets and the guns in this, the movie gets a lot better. I liked it. Like that was actually when I started to get on board with it. It was initially I was like, oh, is this just going to be a shoot 'em up? I thought this was a martial arts film. And then when it pivoted was when it grabbed me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like thinking back to the production, like the rehearsal schedule on this must have been insane.
Well, something that's really cool. So the actor who played Mad Dog, whose name here, I've got it right here, is Yeon Ruan. And then the lead actor who played Rama.
Iko Uwais.
Yes. They were in martial arts together for 10 years. They choreographed all of their scenes together.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. So, because, say the name again, Iko
Uwais?
Yeah, so he had grown up, I guess his father owned a studio, and he had grown up doing martial arts his whole life. And when the director started talking to him, he was like, hey, do you want to make this movie? And at the time, he was a driver for a telecommunications company.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, I'll make this movie with you. And now he is like a martial arts star, and it's actually really cool. In fact, Yeon Ruan, Mad Dog, he's in Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, he's like made a career out of this, and he's a super, super interesting dude.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, this movie has a American remake that's just been in development hell for a decade.
Good.
And I'm glad.
Don't make it. There's no reason.
Because what they'll do is they will, and again, I know I sound like I'm contradicting myself, they'll try to plot it up a bit. And
they will try to
stupid.
Yeah, they will try to plot it up. And one of the things, maybe the other reason I like this movie is I watched this after Safehouse. And one of the things I did not like in Safehouse was the fights were so sloppy.
Yeah.
They did not feel choreographed, actually. They felt very messy.
No, the car crashes are better than the fights.
Yeah. And I was just like, man, these fights aren't fun to watch. I don't want to see them. The chasing is okay. But like, if this is a Bourne movie, it's just not hitting on that level for me right now. So anyway, final thoughts on the Raid Redemption before we take a break?
I don't think so.
All right.
Final thought. All of the bad guy voice acting feels like lines from Archer.
Oh, was your sound mix weird? Because, like, when I watched it, I was like, it's a good thing this movie has hardly any dialogue, and I have subtitles anyway. Because I couldn't hear
the sound mix was weird. It would get really quiet and it would get really loud. Yeah, the sound editor was not nominated for an Oscar for this film.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to all three dive into the headliner, The Hunger Games. We'll be back with more The Screen Hoppers.
Welcome back to the Screen Hoppers. We just spent some time chatting about Safehouse and the Raid, Redemption. Lots of action, not as much plot. But now we are diving into our headliner, which is based on a book.
Yeah. That
Hunger
movie
Games.
was so action-packed, I had to take my sweatshirt off. It was just too warm. And going into the Hunger Games, I'm keeping it with me just in case I get stuck out in the woods and have to fight somebody off.
Ian probably has some sort of joke about snow.
I was going to say dying from exposure, actually.
Yeah.
You want to keep things. So, no, I don't have any. I don't have any more frosty,
Dying from
snowy.
exposure does. I had like a weird nitpick because my brain just like fixates on stupid things. When they're training for the Hunger Games, the like person leading the training is like, pay attention to the survival skills. More of you will die from natural causes than from combat. And like 30 seconds into the Hunger Games, half of them are dead, all from combat.
Yes.
Math doesn't math anymore.
That's true. Actually, I never really thought about that. Although maybe that was a survival thing because running into the middle is bad survival skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you are not the biggest, you should not run into the middle.
Cinna tells us
Cinna
not
does
to do that.
Yeah.
Or no, it's Hamish tells us that.
I don't know. One of the two say it.
The Hunger Games. If you are not familiar with the Hunger Games, I feel like by now you probably should be. The Hunger Games takes place in a post-apocalyptic North America. The country is now called Panem. It is ravaged. There is a authoritarian government that are all located in the capital where things are going great and everyone is happy.
We have one of those now.
But most people do not.
And there's going to be a Hunger Games.
Is there?
So
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. So for the America 250 celebration, they're doing a
That's right.
sports competition where one boy, one girl from each state is
each-
going to compete.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I'm a teenager.
That's where the similarities end, I think, with this plan. But
It's funny because people always say authoritarians don't read, like they don't understand history. And I'm always like, no, they definitely read and they understand history better than everybody else. Because
actually, most authoritarians are like nerdy academics who have read too much.
well, I was going to say, they read and understand. What they know is that no one else reads and understands. Same reason we think all of our pop songs are positive and all of our movies like The Hunger Games are inspirational.
Yeah, I mean, but that's why authoritarianism has a perfect record of losing. Like long term is
Yes.
so you have Panem run by the capital. The people are oppressed, and every year each district, there are 12 of them, have to pay tribute by sacrificing one teenage boy, one teenage girl in a fight to the death.
I have always, until this watching, been confused by this movie. I felt like I was being fed a pack of lies by the movie. And I had a little bit of a realization on this watching, and I'm going to try to describe it. I don't know if I'm going to do a good job. But my sense of it was always that Snow, Cornelius Snow, not Edward Snowden, not Tobin Frost, Cornelius Snow, I can do this, that he is telling us that this world has to do this thing in order to keep everybody in line, that they all have to send a teenager because that's how they give everybody a little bit of hope, but not too much hope. And that's how he maintains total control over Panem.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always thought to myself, that doesn't make sense. These people are not really under your control. And all this does for most of the districts is cause them to riot and get angry and be terrified and hate all of you more than they probably already do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, so I'm not on board with this movie in this world. Like, I just don't understand because this logic doesn't logic. Like, none of the evidence shows that this is actually working. And what I realized on this watching is that's the point.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Authoritarians, like, he's high on his own supply. He thinks he knows how to run this world, and he actually doesn't. He's a fool, and he's going to get eaten alive.
Right. I mean, it creates fear, and he explicitly states that fear is not enough, that kernel of hope is necessary to kind of keep things moving. But the truth is, it's all fear, and it has an expiration date, and that's what plays out.
Yeah, and because basically District 1 and District 2 win all the games, you have no hope in any district below. It's like being a Cubs fan, sort of, except that your team dies every year. But this realization actually helped me like the movie more than I have in the past. I just always sort of felt a little left behind by it. I was like, I don't understand this world. And I was always been like, maybe if I read the book, I would understand it better, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think, like, my only question is kind of, to your point, like, what took so long, right? In this movie is sort of about the undoing of this system. You have Katniss, our protagonist, sort of bucking the system a little bit, not playing exactly by the rules. You have what seems to be sort of an uprising starting. People are definitely seeing through the mirage. And then when Rue, one of the characters, the youngest tribute, is killed, it sparks riots. And I'm just left wondering, like, what was it about that death, these games, that finally tipped it over? Like, why didn't it happen before if they've been doing this for 74 years?
I think that's a really good question.
I actually think that it's a pretty simple answer. In the previous versions, everybody was out for themselves, whereas in this setting, Katniss has befriended, and it's not an allyship like the other districts have. Specifically, districts 1 and 2 are out for each other, and they know that they're going to kill each other in the end. That doesn't happen with Katniss and Rue. It's a genuine, we're here for each other, we're trying to save each other, we're going to look out for each other and do what we can. So sharing food, sharing warmth.
Because there's an actual affection as opposed to just strategy at play.
Yeah. And when you look at it, like, Katniss is clearly the winner of this, in that she's the older, the larger, the more able. Rue has some skill, because clearly she's made it not just past the first night, not just past the opening where everybody else has rushed into the center. She's managed to work on her own and survive several nights. We have other characters who have done this as well. I can't think of the character's name, but the character with the red hair, she's from another district, one of the lower districts as well. She is kind of copying whatever she sees other people do. She's really great at surviving on her own, but she doesn't branch out, whereas Rue and Katniss come together.
Maybe that's what has been missing for me, is like not seeing that in the past, is not knowing what the prior Hunger Games look like. My theory, though, is actually this is the 74th Hunger Games. To me, this is just far enough past the uprising that the people who were part of it and were punished for it are gone or have forgotten.
Yeah, where for a long time you had these like two generations that existed. The people who went through the struggle are feeling this as sort of a punishment or whatever for the uprising. They may put in line by it,
and they may agree with it. They may be like, that uprising was wrong and this is what we deserve. But now this is a completely new generation. This is like 2000 to 2010 World War II veterans are starting to pass away, and people are forgetting about World War II because we no longer have a connection to that generation. And I'm wondering if that specific amount of time is an important part of why this is when this government begins to crumble and why Katniss is able to do it, and whether it's Katniss or whether it's just the inevitability of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to that. American history sort of plays out in that same cycle. Right?
In sort of 75-year cycles.
75, 80 years, you go from Revolution to Civil War to World War II to now.
Well, I mean, World War II was, what 75 years ago? Well, I guess, yeah, I mean, it was the beginnings of it were 75 years ago. And that was a very revolutionary time in the United States.
Yeah. And so,
at least from a governmental perspective, there wasn't like an uprising, but
yeah. But you're coming out of like the Depression, right? So so at home things aren't going smooth.
And we no longer have a memory of it. That memory is, for all intents and purposes, gone. But we're keeping it alive here on the Screen Hoppers by watching old movies.
That's what we do here. It's a community service.
You're welcome. Does that mean we can write this off on our taxes?
Yeah. The production of this is interesting, right? I think Lionsgate purchased the rights to this movie for $200,000.
And very early, too.
And very early, I think before publishing.
Yeah.
And Lionsgate was a tiny studio at the time. They basically mortgaged the house to make this movie. They took money out of budgets of other
They mortgaged the
projects.
house to buy the wigs for this movie.
Yeah. And so, I always like when a studio has faith in the project that they're making, that they really believe in what they're doing. And Lionsgate did, right? They bought the rights to the movie, and then they hired the author to write the screenplay.
Well, part of getting the rights was actually giving her a lot of creative control. She was only interested in working with them because she was given a lot of creative control, able to write the screenplay, and then also was given money on the back end. So profit. So she had some skin in the game of the movie doing well, which it did.
Yeah, and she was a TV writer before she was an author of books. So,
I didn't know that. What had she written?
Like children's shows. Yeah. Which
And then she was like, I want to see these kids fight to the death. You know what the problem with all these children's show is? Not enough of the
alive.
insides of them. There aren't enough moments in which one child cracks the neck of another child, which, by the way, connective tissue. All
Snap
three
necks.
movies have the hardcore neck snap.
I know it was really jarring in Safehouse.
When Tobin, so you've got Tobin does it, and then District 1 boy does it. And then obviously it happens. Mad Dog's all about. Mad Dog's neck snap is the best though, because he like puts their hands. They fight. They know they're going to connect.
He's
It's like,
practiced and perfected.
I've done
the
this
art
before,
of snapping a neck.
and I'm going to savor it. Yeah. Weird connection. I love action movie neck snaps.
I think it makes a lot of sense because this is where we'll bring you into the conversation. The book, to my memory, is very cinematic in the way it reads. It flows like a movie. It is descriptive in a way that like I felt like I was seeing these characters living in this world. And it's a good adaptation. Like the movie feels very true to the book to me. And I think it comes from both the fact that it's written by the author of the book, so the familiarity is obviously there, but also in that the problem with a lot of adaptations is that books just are not constructed in a way that is movie friendly, and these books very much are.
Oh, very much. They have a lot of scene description, a lot of information that comes in from conversation. So you get all of that like exposition built into what's going on, and very similar in the conversations that we're having on the train with Elizabeth Banks's character, Effie, who is out there, right? And we have the Gale and Katniss running off into the forest before the Hunger Games trials, not before the trials, before the selection, before they're all going into
The reaping.
Yes.
I remember.
Yeah. And so each of these characters, they are very much the description, but the settings are also built in a way that you can see how, if you were imagining this movie, this is what you would imagine.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that this movie, I mean, half of it, maybe more than half of it, takes place before the Hunger Games actually occur. There's a lot of like world building. You spend time with these characters. You get to know them. You get to understand the dynamic. They don't rush into the action. And I really appreciated that.
Maybe this is the other thing I was thinking, though. Speaking specifically of that moment, of the moments before the Hunger Games. So the Hunger Games are this big spectacle that they show on TV. But the reaping is something that basically every single lower district, for the most part, dreads. Because there's so much fear around what's going to happen. But if they really wanted this to continue to sort of keep that fear and maintain that hope, this is where rebranding is in order. calling it the reaping.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing about that makes you excited to give up your offering for this battle. It's just, it feels like imminent death for whoever gets chosen. And so that's going to affect obviously the person that's taken, their friends, their family, their siblings, everybody around them. And it's just going to leave this trauma every single year inside of that family and inside of that community. And it's going to be called a reaping, not an offering, not a competition. And this is where it's like, this government is dumb. Like they're not good at doing what they do.
They call them tributes, but they call the event where the tributes are offered up a reaping.
A reaping, exactly. Like
it's incongruous.
Yeah, it's messy and weird, and like they haven't gotten good at like doing authoritarianism.
Be better at authoritarianing.
Well, kind of. And this is where I think it's like a really interesting critique of an authoritarian government, and that it's like, no, they're kind of dumb. They actually don't know what they're doing, and they're scared of losing power, and they're not thinking things through. And again, like I'm going to say it, like they're high on their own supply. They think they're so smart. They think they've got this under control, but they don't. And then I guess my other thing, and I'm curious in the book also, is like Katniss Everdeen. And it's like she's not likable. Like I don't like that character. Like I don't think that like I want to hang around her. She's kind of abrasive, and I know she's sort of be that way. It sort of meant to be that way. Is she like that in the book?
I mean, a lot of it is told from her perspective.
Yeah, it's a first person book.
So,
and she's like, I really hate me.
So
I have major self-esteem issues
with other people, and you get the inside like inner monologues and what's going on. So you understand where she's coming from and why she is setting herself apart. She feels very much like an outsider, even amongst her own community, where she lives in an impoverished district, but she is also like one of the lowest lows. So you see her.
Is she the lowest low among her district?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I don't get that from the movie.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the challenges of the movie that they do is they don't set Katniss up to be. You see some of these flashbacks where she's here's the thing, you don't know that she's starving. You don't know that her family is so desolate that she's out there picking dandelions, making soup to make sure that her family can survive because dandelions are edible, and her father has taught her that, but her father's now passed away.
Yeah.
And you get this moment where she's yelling at her mom saying, don't lose yourself again. You're all Prim has, but you get so much more in the book where
I think in the book it is more obvious that the things that you don't like about Katniss are a result of resentment, not angst.
I'm hearing this, one of the things I'm thinking, and I know financially it would have made no sense for Lionsgate. In fact, I don't even think it would have been financially possible. But I actually think I would have liked to have seen the first movie split into two movies.
Yeah.
Where it leads into a movie that is the actual game, but everything else is about like that world. Because as we know, the last movie was split into two, and that was a poor choice and did not work. And that ended up feeling a little bit like a money grab. But I can see a lot of reasons why I would have spent more time in District 12. One of the other things I want to talk about in this movie is, so there's sort of the authoritarian government, but then there's how media plays into it.
Yes.
And how Katniss sort of undermines that. And this is the other thing that I always feel like I'm sort of missing, where it's like Katniss behaves on media unlike any of the other tributes that we see. But again, I don't know if that's historical, where there have been other tributes who have behaved her way.
From District 12, you know her as the girl on fire. Well, we know her as the lovely Katniss Everdeen.
Also, I just love Stanley Tucci as Caesar.
He's
like,
so fun.
Oh my God, he's fantastic. Who's playing the new Caesar? I forgot. It was really good.
What?
I think someone's a little nervous. I said that was quite an entrance that you made at the Tributes Parade the other day. Do you want to tell us about it?
Well, I was just hoping that I wouldn't burn to death.
Kieran Culkin.
Who?
Kieran Culkin.
That's right.
That's really
Yeah. It was perfect. That's right. I was really excited about who it was.
When you came out of that chariot,
I have to say, my heart stopped. Did any of you experience this as well? My heart stopped.
So did mine.
Now tell me about the flames. Are they real?
Yes. In fact, I'm wearing them today. Would you like to see?
Wait. Is it safe?
Like, she's not charming in this at all. She's awkward and halting, like me on this podcast. She doesn't know what she wants to say, and yet the entire Panem falls in love with her.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of realism in that. People who seem kind of awkward and don't know what to say and are thrust into flame. I mean, you think about
Jennifer Lawrence.
A little bit.
A lot of it, I think.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say who's the new Spider-Man? Why am I
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Like he is very charming, but the way that he behaves, where he just seems like, I'm just a regular guy.
He always says things he's not supposed to say. Yeah.
And the media loves him because of that.
And I think that's actually really important. I think that's what makes Katniss. She's a reluctant hero. She's an unlikely hero. And part of it is that she fucks up their TV show. But
like drives the numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is actually the other thing I actually genuinely do like about this story and this world is that you have somebody who, because they are real, because they are sincere, even though it's also mediated and it is put on, and she is in fact putting on a persona, it's just closer to who she is, that the entire world responds to her.
And I think that's what's dangerous, right? That's what makes...
I think that's more dangerous than almost anything else she does, because they're winning on the media front. They're losing on this crazy Hunger Games thing, but all of the media around it is the only thing that's holding it together.
Right. And because she comes in and doesn't play the game, right, in the right way. She is, PETA makes a remark leading into the Hunger Games that he expects to lose, but he wants to at least remain true to who he is. He doesn't want to let it change him. He doesn't want his last moments alive to be him becoming someone he's not. Katniss is actually the one who pulls that off.
She succeeds.
It's what brings it all down.
Yeah.
Is she doesn't let the Hunger Games break her. And then I think the lower districts respond to that, latch onto that, and revolution comes from that.
She doesn't allow it to let her become a part of the Capitol, become a part of this world. She retains herself. And I do think that's the true revolution that takes place in this. It's not her winning the Hunger Games, which again is one of the things I do genuinely like about the story.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
I think so. These headlining movies are always interesting to talk about because they're the ones everyone has seen. What I will say, just as kind of an assessment of the movie, is I think that, young adult adaptations go one of two ways, usually. One is they either sort of respect the material, respect the audience, tell the story they're there to tell, and they live and die by the characters. I think the characters in this are very strong, or they get very, very stupid. I don't think this movie gets very, very stupid. I think it respects its source material, respects its characters, and builds those characters enough for the audience to have something to latch onto and enjoy.
Yeah. I think I'm inclined to agree. So MVP time.
MVP time. All right. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Cool.
We talked about Catherine O'Hara earlier today, and
You're going to MVP Catherine O'Hara?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I support that.
That's fine.
She was around.
She existed when these movies came out. So
she was probably in the crowd in the Capitol.
That's what I'm saying is I think that she and any of her characters could potentially have been a Capitol enthusiast and or a capitalist. Citizen of the Capitol. There we go. Citizen of the Capitol. And I want to shout out to Elizabeth Banks for, embodying very much what I think Catherine O'Hara would have brought to the role. And so in honor of Catherine O'Hara, I award Elizabeth Banks my MVP.
Honestly,
would
that's
have.
the prequel I want to read. Like,
I know.
I want the Effie
I want
Trinket
Effie.
story.
I actually do too. I love Effie. I love Elizabeth
Because
Banks and
she
everything.
is ostensibly from District 12, right? But then becomes a product of the Capitol. She's playing a role in later, chapters of the story. We learn a little bit more about her. And I just want to see that arc of Effie going from being kind of normie to this caricature back into a real person. I want the Effie Trinket story.
I want to see the Schitt's Creek of Panem, in which the Schitts all live in the Capitol. Their business manager wrecks them, and they all have to move into a motel in District 12. That's what I want to see.
District
And
12 is too poor to support a hotel or
Moira
a business.
and Moira brings all of her wigs with her there, and they open their little stores and rebuild themselves. I want to see this movie. Somebody make this,
please.
Michael, MVP, or do you want?
So my MVPs,
are with a Z.
The executives of Lionsgate.
Oh, okay.
I really appreciate the way that they treated this property. I think, another studio, a bigger studio, a studio that didn't have to make sacrifices for this movie to be possible, would have sanded too many edges. They would have probably made the plot a little more digestible. And instead, I think they treated this, literary phenomenon with respect and affection, and created a movie and a franchise that felt very true to what they said they were doing. We don't always see that, and then they were rewarded for it.
I actually really like that. I will say the first time I saw this movie, Ari, I think, had just read the book, and he was like, "Oh, Dad, let's watch The Hunger Games." And I was like, "Oh, YA nonsense. Okay." I didn't watch it in theaters. I wasn't part of this phenomenon. And I remember sitting down in our house, and I think I just bought all three. I think they were, or four, I guess. And they were like a package. And I turned it on, and I was like, holy shit. This movie goes hard. This movie is way darker.
Don't cheapen it.
No, this is way darker than I expected it to be. It comes after media in a way I didn't expect it to. It really is. It was shocking to me. It made the shock of how dark it was made me want to watch the other ones, because I just was so ill prepared for this movie to be as sort of gruesome as it is. We talked about The Raid Redemption being a really bloody, there's like body horror in it. But there is something more shocking about the violence in The Hunger Games than in a movie in which you see a butter spreader get stuck into a bullet hole because of just, I just can't get over that scene. And so, I agree. I think that's an interesting pick for an MVP. You've never done a studio executive before, and that's not somebody we normally don't like our studio executives. All right. Well, I dig it. For me, my MVP, Yeon Ruan. Mad Dog of The Raid Redemption. That guy, before he even started doing martial arts, I was sitting there and I saw him and I was like, what an amazing face. I don't know who this guy is, but he's 5'2" and he just has this presence in this movie that I can't describe. And after we watched the other character run around with a machete, and I thought he was the big bad, and I thought he represented the true threat until I saw Mad Dog, and I was like, what's this guy's story? And then he proceeded to just have the best scenes and just so much energy, so much choreography when he's doing the duel fight, and the fact that he actually choreographed all of those scenes himself. I just was absolutely blown away by this guy. His finale was amazing. In fact, I don't know if you know this, he was so good in it. He dies in it, right? They brought him back in the sequel with like longer hair, and they just figured nobody would care or notice because they just wanted to see him again.
So he just gets cast as a completely different character.
A completely different character. Awesome. And like I said, he made his leap into The Force Awakens and into the John Wick universe too, because he was so good in this movie. And so, I just want to give him a shout out. Like, what an incredible performer, incredible martial artist, incredible choreographer. Like, that guy was doing everything. I think he stole the show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree.
The other guy, we don't know his name, but we have been affectionately referring to him as Crazy Eyes.
It was Crazy Eyes. Machete guy was Crazy Eyes. Because he did something with his eyes that every time they just popped out of his head. I love good faces.
He just really loves his machetes.
A lot of people in that movie love their machetes. All right. And then finally, we are going to do our ratings for the movie. So in case you've forgotten, our rating system is now skip it, stream it, pay to rent it, pay to buy it, or 4K Steelbook it. So, Michael, let's start with you. Our 3 movies.
All right. So for Safehouse, I'm going to give this a rent it.
A rent it?
Yeah.
Wow. Pay to rent it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I did. And I am
And
not
you don't
unhappy
regret
that
it.
I did so. I think that Denzel Washington, honestly, is worthwhile. He's
I almost
solid.
MVP'd him.
Yeah.
But it's
I really
Denzel.
like him. He's Denzel.
Yeah,
He
it's-
doesn't need it.
No.
He can put our MVP next to his Oscar.
He has plenty of laurels.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, it's not a special movie by any means,
No.
but I have spent 2 hours far worse. And he really does, I think, have enough scenes where he gets to chew the scenery, and I enjoy watching him chew.
All right. So rent it for Safehouse from Michael.
Yeah.
Well, let's just do Safehouse. Rosie, Safehouse. Rent it.
Rent it.
Rent it also.
Rent it. Yeah.
Okay.
It was worth the watch. I wish it was funnier because I like my action to have a lot of comedy. I like my
So humorless.
yeah.
It is
But
deadly serious.
I wasn't upset even though we figured out the plot in all its plottiness.
Yeah.
But
Okay. But it's a rent it.
yeah, it's a rent it.
It wasn't just that it was humorless for me. It also was just like Denzel Washington was the only warmth in the movie, and that was actually one of my issues with it. I'm gonna go stream it on this one. I think it's like a TBS afternoon movie for me, where I'm like not mad about spending time with it, but spending $4 on it felt like I could have spent $4 on 8 other movies that I probably would have had a similar experience with. And so yeah, that's why. But yeah, Denzel Washington, but there's also just like better Denzel Washington performances out there. I love him as Tobin Frost. So, but yeah, I mean, I liked it. It just felt very paint by numbers, apart from Denzel Washington.
Okay.
All right. Raid Redemption. Michael.
All right. This is where I break all the rules and annoy you.
I know you're going to say skip it.
I am going to say, if your only option is to watch it at home, skip it. But if you can find a theatrical screening, preferably like a midnight movie at an art house,
Yeah.
run, don't walk.
Interesting. Okay, that's a fun split. I'll figure out how to put a graphic up. I'll have something for a little asterisk for you. All right, Raid Redemption.
Ooh, I actually vote buy it. It was wonderful enough that I want to rewatch it.
I have good news. I bought it,
Woo!
so we can rewatch it.
I will
talking
say it's
about? I
super
took a train
cheap,
to
so why
see it.
not?
Yeah. I'm right there with you. It's a buy it.
Yeah.
I had so much fun with it. It is a lot of dumb fun that is really well choreographed. It's some fun technical filmmaking.
Yeah, I
Ready for the
I almost went with the casting directors and choreographer for my
For the raid?
for my MVP.
I don't know if they had a casting director. I think just the director was like
actually-
finding people.
They had casting. They had
Yeah.
people who were casting. Who,
Mostly for like the extras, I assume, though.
There were a lot of
There was
extras.
actually specifically one dedicated to action.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So-
Finding the right people who
yeah.
can do those stunts.
Exactly. But I will say, Michael, we should stream this or we should watch it on the backyard movie theater and invite all the kids to
Yeah.
watch.
The
Oh,
raid?
yeah, I'll
You
bring
want all
my
the kids to
6-year-old.
watch all of those? I mean, it's so cartoonish. Like I said, to me, The Hunger Games is more upsetting
And I
violence
did watch
wise.
that one with my kids.
Yeah,
so-
and that one's way more disturbing to me. Like just because something has blood does not mean that it is a more violent movie.
Yeah, I actually
Yeah.
agree. I do think that in terms of how it affected me as a viewer, I think the violence in the Hunger Games is
Way more
a lot.
affecting.
Yeah,
Oh my
way more
gosh.
affecting.
Yeah. And finally, The Hunger Games.
Okay, so the Hunger Games, I love the Hunger Games. I love the series. I actually think that the Hunger Games themselves are the least interesting part of it, and they basically get thrown away after this movie, and I think that's a good thing. I am a for sure buy it, and maybe even a steelbook it.
You're a 4K Steelbook it.
Yeah.
Are you going to go there? Am
Yeah.
I going to push, or am I pushing you into it?
No, I would go buy it. I don't think this movie, I think, digital downloads are very good. And, 4K Steelbook, that's reserved for like the Jawses of the universe.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll go buy it, but it's a strong buy.
Yeah.
Don't wait for it to be on sale.
I could buy it.
Yours is a buy it too.
Buy it. Yeah. Ian, what about you?
I'm really leaning 4K Steelbook. I like this movie a lot. It's very rewatchable, and It's very pretty. Like, I like the stark contrast between District 12, between the Capitol, and between the actual Hunger Games. There is a lot of color in this movie, which is something that the other two movies we should have brought up do not have. They do that blue and black desaturated look that I absolutely hate from 2012. Whereas the Hunger Games starts there and does a little overdoes it on the shaky cam. That's the other big 2012 thing. But then gets out of shaky cam when you get into the Capitol, which is an interesting thematic move. Don't 100% agree with it aesthetically, but I appreciate the decision.
I actually do. I like the shaky cam because it is not just an aesthetic choice. It is a thematic one.
And so I'm going to 4K Steelbook Hunger Games. I really, really like this movie. I think it is a really good movie, and I think it is worth getting your full bit rate and whatever additional artwork you can get inside of that book. I think it's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to fight you. To the death.
You're not going to break my neck.
No.
Mad Dog style or Hunger Games style or Tobin Frost style. All right, Michael. Well, we did it. We did March 2012. Next episode, we're going to November of 2023 because I decided let's just keep rolling with the Hunger Games. I clearly like this movie. You clearly like this movie.
2013.
Obviously, welcome back. What did I say?
23.
Oh, whoops. Yeah. Yes. Going from 2012 to 2013. There was a 23 Hunger Games, but no, we're coming back for the Hunger Games Catching Fire. Michael, what else is playing this weekend?
All right. So the movies that got to lose to the Hunger Games Catching Fire are Thor, The Dark World in its third week, The Best Man Holiday, Delivery Man, Freebirds, Las Vegas, Bad Grandpa, Gravity, 12 Years a Slave, and The Dallas Buyers Club.
And we're going to be watching the Hunger Games. We're going to do some screen hopping. Michael, what's your pick for this weekend?
Yeah, so this was a packed weekend. The Hunger Games, I think based on its success and acclaim, it moved from a March release to a November release. So it was right in awards season. Lots of great stuff to choose from.
I know. We love a good November release.
I went with Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity.
I have not rewatched this movie.
Yeah, same. I saw it in theaters. Loved it in theaters. It was one of my favorite of the year, to my recollection. It's been 13 years since, and I am looking forward to revisiting. I think
we walked out of the theater going, "That was amazing. We're never going to watch it again," and stuck to it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm excited to revisit it because I haven't since then, and I remember really liking it. I'm also a little scared to revisit it.
Knowing how it ends is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I went with Denis Villeneuve's Prisoners. Sticking to my have not seen movies. I have not seen this one. And we're doing a prestige weekend. Cuarón, Villeneuve.
Yeah, and still, I guess Gravity's not really an action movie, but I think we'll find some, it's thrillery.
Well, they're both thrillers, aren't they? Yeah. Well, I don't even know that Catching Fire is as much of an action movie either. It's a little more thrillery. So we're pivoting with the Hunger Games.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I want to see Prisoners. It's one that I've heard good things about. It's from a director who does good things, but for whatever reason, don't know what that reason is. I haven't seen it.
Same boat. Well, obviously, Rosie, it's been lovely having you on today's episode. You are welcome back for more Hunger Games if you'd like.
Thanks for letting me know.
If you're feeling hungry.
I'm always hungry.
All right. Well, this has been super fun. Michael, take us out.
Awesome. Yes. As always, thanks so much for joining us on YouTube, podcasts. Follow us in the meantime on Instagram at The Screen Hoppers. We will have our poll. You can tell us if you agree with our assessment of these movies. You can vote on whether Ian picked the better movie with Safehouse, if I picked the better movie with The Raid, or if the world picked the best movie with The Hunger Games.
The world picked the best movie with The Hunger Games. Yeah, it's not even close.
And you can check out what I am up to at where am I at?
You're Michael underscore.
Michael underscore
up left.
I always go up left underscore Michael, and I'm wrong.
I know.
50-50 shot.
And I always cut your audio in post and run the right graphic.
And Ian, you are at...
I'm at Ian_upleft. And then, of course, you can visit us at upleftmedia.com and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel at this point. That seems to be where people want to.
We are a YouTube show now.
We are a YouTube show. We thought we were going to be all audio, and yet here we are with our blue and red backlights and our
fancy graphics.
Yeah, fancy graphics and our high resolution cameras because we are now a YouTube show.
And
Rosie Paige.
Yeah, I'm Rosie Paige. You can also find me at upleftmedia.com or check me out at Nailed It Novels on YouTube and Instagram.
You definitely should. What books are we diving into soon?
Ooh, well, we just finished up the ACOTAR series, and we are also doing a season 2. So we have books that have yet to be announced, but see more at upleftmedia.com for blog posts, and be sure to check out the nails.
Awesome. Thanks again for being here. And thank you for being here. We'll see you next time for more Hunger Games.
We'll see you on the Screen Hoppers. The Screen Hoppers is an Upleft Media production, written by Ian Tarter and Michael Smith. Produced, sound engineered, and edited by Ian Tarter, with special thanks to Rosie Paige.